There is a divine principle operating continuously in your life that many people fail to recognize, and it centers around the power of your words. Words are not merely sounds or expressions of thought. They are carriers of spiritual force that shape realities both seen and unseen. Every time you speak, you are releasing something into motion, whether you are aware of it or not. Words spoken in faith align with truth and activate unseen help, while words filled with doubt or fear create barriers that hinder progress. This is why it is so important to become conscious of what you are saying daily. Most people speak casually without realizing that their words are either building their future or limiting it. Your mouth is not just a communicator, it is a creator of direction in your life. The unseen realm responds more to what you say than what you feel. If your words are filled with uncertainty, hesitation, or negativity, they begin to shape your environment accordingly. But when your words are rooted in belief and confidence, they release a different kind of force that begins to shift circumstances. This is not about pretending or denying reality. It is about choosing to speak a higher truth regardless of what is visible. When you align your speech with what you believe deep within, you create consistency between your inner conviction and your outward expression. That consistency is what gives your words power and influence beyond the natural realm. Many people are waiting for change, yet they continue to speak in ways that reinforce the very situations they want to escape. They describe their problems repeatedly, magnify their struggles, and unknowingly give strength to what they should be overcoming. Words spoken repeatedly take root in the heart and eventually manifest in experience. This is why disciplined speech is essential for anyone who desires transformation. You cannot expect to move forward while continually speaking backward. The words you choose each day either push you toward progress or pull you deeper into limitation. When you begin to understand this principle, you realize that change starts with what you say, not just what you do. Speaking differently requires intentional effort because it goes against natural habits formed over time. However, as you begin to replace negative expressions with faith-filled declarations, something begins to shift internally. Your thinking starts to change, your outlook becomes stronger, and your confidence begins to grow. This internal shift is the foundation for external results. The unseen realm responds to alignment, and when your words and beliefs come into agreement, movement begins. It may not be immediate, but it is inevitable when consistency is maintained. Your words act as signals that direct the flow of your life, determining whether you move toward victory or remain in cycles of defeat. There is a powerful connection between what you consistently say and what you eventually experience in life, and this connection is often overlooked because people focus more on circumstances than on confession. Many individuals unknowingly sabotage their own progress by speaking in alignment with their problems instead of their desired outcome. They talk about lack, repeat stories of failure, and rehearse negative situations until those words become deeply rooted in their thinking. Over time, these repeated expressions begin to shape their expectations, and those expectations influence their decisions and actions. Words are not neutral. They carry direction, and whatever direction they carry is the path your life begins to follow. When you speak limitation, your mind looks for evidence to support that limitation, and your actions begin to reflect it. This creates a cycle where negative speech produces negative thinking, which then produces negative results. Breaking that cycle requires awareness and intentional change in how you speak every day. You must become disciplined enough to interrupt old patterns and replace them with words that reflect faith and possibility. This does not mean ignoring challenges, but it does mean refusing to give them authority through your speech. When you begin to speak differently, you start to think differently, and that shift in thinking becomes the starting point for transformation. Your words become the steering wheel that directs your life, and once you take control of that, you begin to move toward a new outcome. Consistency in speech is what determines whether this principle works for you or against you, because occasional positive words cannot override a constant stream of negativity. Many people speak faith for a moment but return quickly to doubt when circumstances do not change immediately. This inconsistency weakens the impact of their words and keeps them stuck in the same place. For words to produce results, they must be repeated with belief over time until they become firmly established within you. As you continue to declare what is right instead of what is wrong, your inner world begins to align with those declarations. This alignment strengthens your confidence and changes how you respond to challenges. Instead of reacting with fear or frustration, you begin to respond with stability and assurance. Over time, this new way of speaking becomes natural, and your mindset shifts from defeat to expectation. When your expectation changes, your behavior follows, and that behavior begins to open doors that were previously closed. The unseen influence of your words works quietly but powerfully, setting things in order beyond what you can immediately observe. As long as you remain consistent, your words continue to work, shaping outcomes, influencing decisions, and guiding your path forward in ways that eventually become visible in your life. There is a critical moment in every person's life where they must decide whether they will continue to speak based on what they see or begin to speak based on what they believe, and that decision determines the direction of their future. Most people allow circumstances to dictate their words, and as a result, their speech becomes a reflection of temporary conditions rather than unchanging truth. When situations become difficult, they speak defeat. When challenges arise, they speak fear. And when delays happen, they speak doubt. This pattern keeps them locked in a cycle where nothing truly changes because their words keep reinforcing the same reality. However, those who understand the deeper principle choose a different approach. They refuse to let what is visible control what they say, and instead, they speak from a place of conviction rooted in truth. This kind of speaking requires discipline because it goes against natural instinct. Everything around you may suggest one outcome, yet you choose to declare another. That is not denial. It is alignment with a higher perspective that sees beyond the present moment. When you consistently speak what you believe rather than what you feel, you begin to break the influence of circumstances over your life. Your words become an anchor that stabilizes you in uncertain times, keeping you steady when everything else seems unstable. This stability allows you to move forward with confidence, even when visible progress is not yet apparent. As you continue in this way, something powerful begins to develop within you that goes beyond simple positive thinking. Your inner conviction becomes stronger than external pressure, and your words start to carry a different weight because they are backed by belief rather than emotion. At first, it may feel unnatural to speak confidently in the face of difficulty, but with repetition, it becomes a habit that reshapes your mindset. You begin to expect change instead of fearing the worst, and that expectation influences how you approach every situation. Instead of withdrawing or hesitating, you act with assurance, knowing that what you have been declaring is already setting things in motion. This internal shift is what separates those who remain stuck from those who experience progress. The unseen realm responds to consistency and conviction, and when your words remain steady regardless of circumstances, they begin to produce results over time. Small changes start to appear, opportunities begin to open, and situations that once seemed impossible start to shift in your favor. These changes are not random. They are the result of aligned speech and belief working together over time. When you reach this point, you no longer depend on feelings to determine what you say, because you understand that your words are instruments of direction, shaping outcomes and guiding your life toward a different reality. There is a responsibility that comes with understanding the power of your words, and that responsibility is to guard them carefully, because not every thought deserves to be spoken. Many people allow every feeling, every fear, and every passing doubt to flow freely from their mouths without restraint, not realizing that this lack of control weakens their ability to stand strong in challenging moments. Words spoken without intention often create confusion, instability, and contradiction within a person's life. One moment they speak hope, and the next moment they speak defeat, and this inconsistency cancels out the progress they could have made. Guarding your words means becoming selective, choosing to speak only what aligns with truth rather than reacting to every situation emotionally. This requires awareness, because thoughts come quickly and emotions can rise suddenly, but discipline is built when you pause and choose your response carefully. The more you practice this, the more control you gain over your speech, and that control begins to bring clarity and direction into your life. Instead of speaking out of habit, you begin to speak with purpose, and your words start to carry greater impact because they are intentional. This shift may seem small at first, but it creates a strong foundation for stability, allowing you to remain steady even when circumstances try to push you in the opposite direction. Over time, your speech becomes consistent, and that consistency strengthens your inner confidence. As you develop this discipline, you begin to recognize that silence is often more powerful than careless speech, because not every situation requires an immediate verbal response. There are moments when holding your words allows you to maintain control rather than losing it through reaction. This does not mean avoiding communication, but it does mean choosing the right words at the right time with the right mindset. When you refuse to give voice to negativity, you prevent it from taking root and growing stronger within you. Instead of reinforcing fear or doubt, you create space for clarity and strength to develop. This practice also changes how you influence others, because your words become more measured, more thoughtful, and more impactful. People begin to notice that when you speak, it carries weight because it is not driven by impulse but by conviction. Over time, this disciplined approach to speech shapes your character, making you someone who is stable and trustworthy in both thought and expression. Your words no longer fluctuate with circumstances, but remain aligned with what you truly believe. This alignment creates a sense of authority in how you communicate, and that authority influences both your internal state and your external experiences, allowing your life to move in a more focused and intentional direction.